was a really boring year for music. I don't think I've ever cared this little about the charts, and given how 2020 and 2022 were, that's saying something. It was hard to even find 10 songs that were distinct enough to be bad, and the bad songs this year generally weren't fun to talk about. In previous years, I at least had some easy punching bags, but this year there just wasn't a lot worth getting angry about. I naturally gravitated towards the songs that irked me in some way or generally just sound unpleasant, but there were still a few snoozers on this list. I have compiled songs from the Billboard Hot 100 and Global 200 2023 year-end lists, as well as Spotify's top 50 most streamed songs of the year, and excluded songs I've already talked about like Unholy, songs that were bigger hits in other years, and Christmas songs. Anything else, whether it be a new song or an old song reaching a new peak in this godforsaken era of music, is fair game. I hope you guys enjoy as we count down the top 10 worst hit songs of 2023. Religious metaphors are something that is hard to get right in music. Some artists like Madonna used religion and prayer while talking about sex as a shock tactic while making some really iconic songs in the process, while others go for a more down-to-earth approach. Country music has a long legacy of making songs about God and making breakup songs. So what if you combine the two into one, making the love religious instead? You'd get Religiously by Bailey Zimmerman. Aside from being a very boring country song with decent instrumentation, Bailey Zimmerman is distraught that his girlfriend has left him. Even though he's had success, he can't get over her. He sounds weirdly emo on the chorus, where he says he's in a church praying for the pain to go away, but he's sad because he doesn't have the only woman who is there for him religiously. Expecting a religious-like devotion from a woman is gross, and on the bridge, we learned that he was the asshole who always put himself first, but he feels bad about it and would take it back, apparently. Did I mention the way he awkwardly inserts the word religiously at the end of every course sounds like a bad attempt at hashtag rap? Next.
Your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
Yeah, I don't need much lead up to this. This song has been talked to death, and quite frankly, others have said why this song is insensitive and uncomfortable way more than I ever could. But putting all the questionable politics aside, who wants to listen to this amateur dreck? And my god, this guy cannot sing, like, at all. This is easily the most unpleasant vocal performance in a hit song this year. I'm not gonna keep talking about this song since it doesn't deserve any more attention. Remember this? What if you made that song but 100 times more dour and depressing with the unconvincing vocal delivery possible and lyrics that sound like they were written by a middle schooler? You'd get Daylight by David Kushner.
When I drink the poison from the same vine, oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Take Me to Church was bombastic for a reason and used church as a metaphor for sex or a toxic relationship. Here, I'm not sure if it is a metaphor. I get the impression David is just some depressed Christian kid who has guilty thoughts about girls sometimes and made the most overwrought confession known to man. This is about as dreary as Unsteady by X-Ambassadors, and the attempt to have a bombastic final chorus utterly fails with production that sounds like it's simultaneously trying to sound as big and as empty as possible. I usually like these kind of songs, but you have to have actual bombast and not be a sorry excuse for a confessional. At least Unholy was slutty. This makes me feel infinitely more uncomfortable. Next. Seriously, we need to stop this. How did this happen? I can't even blame the record industry for this. We let an old album cut from 2018 by Chris fucking Brown chart in 2023. Especially a song where he is bragging about making his girl cry like a baby and let's GoPro and make a video. Truly grade A songwriting. We should have learned our lesson not to enable serial abusers by now, especially when this Dow or Drake reject trap beat isn't even trying to be hot. Trap with R&B elements can work well if it actually sounds sexy and not like an aborted fragment of some 50 Shades of Grey song. But if you want something that's outwardly more disgusting for some reason...
You gon' rock me straight to sleep. Two hoes tryna fuck me while I'm geek. Blame it on the pill when she getting beat. Going ham on her when I give a D. Going homeboy.
As an asexual, I'm clearly not the target demographic for this, but I liked WAP. WAP was fun and made by two women who were enjoying the sex. It just sounds like two guys grossly objectifying women. No thanks. Now let me just read you some glorious lyrics from this masterpiece. From the first fucking line, we have, "This is how it sounds when I hit your hoe." I know hit can have a sexual connotation, but it just sounds creepy. Maybe Chris Brown ruined my brain. Wait, no, there's the line, "Finna beat her till she sleep," because that isn't creepy. Shit was leaking, ooh, juice. Shit was peachy, just like the fruit. Jack Black did not write Peaches to be disgraced by this. I don't care what your fetish is, keep it away from me. The Addy make me do it like that, make me do it like this, so... You admit you're being a creep and justifying it since you're high? I don't care if this song is meant to be a joke. It's not funny, and I really wish we could leave this 2013 level of casual misogyny behind. Luckily, the next two songs just sound like complete ass. Okay, so 2023 saw the rise of a subgenre called regional Mexican music, and I hate it. Most of the production in these songs have horns that sound like wet farts. Maybe this is misogynistic, but I didn't even bother to translate the lyrics because I'm too distracted by that horn that comes in the second half of the song that is funneling its way into my eardrums while the percussion tries to distract me. At least it's short. But what if you had a song that had an obnoxious horn line that never let up? Why? I'm not going to get into the controversy with the teaser of this music video potentially referencing a terrorist group or whatever the hell Cool With You was, and I still haven't forgiven Minhee Jen for what she did to Taemin 10 years ago, and this woman should not be allowed in the industry, much less backed by Hyde, but I digress. Nothing can reach the level of awfulness that was Cookie from last year, a true pedophile anthem that was somehow allowed to exist, but this is just annoying. New Jeans had several songs eligible for this list, but the rest were fine, and ETA was barely a hit, making 198 on the Billboard 200 year-end, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to roast it. Ditto is great, OMG is tolerable, and Super Shy is catchy and innocuous. ETA is certainly catchy, but in the worst way possible. It has a Jersey Club / UK garage beat in the pre-chorus, which is the only time where the birthday party toy-sounding horn line lets up, only to be ruined by an obnoxious hi-hat and some sort of shuffling percussion in the back of the mix that really irks me. It's a song about girl solidarity after a breakup or something, but the content isn't the problem. The problem is that fucking horn line. I don't understand why anyone would choose to listen to this, and I'm a fan of some pretty obnoxious production, but these horns do not work with this minimalist beat. And they never stop! Get this away from me! Country superstar Morgan Wallen was inescapable this year, mainly due to his gigantic #1 hit last night, and it's fine. It's innocuous radio filler with a warm instrumental palette that doesn't outwardly annoy me. Morgan managed to get 9 fucking songs on the year-end Hot 100, with this grossly possessive Thinking About Me and Assified I Wrote the Book being the worst of the two.
Now you thinking about me coming over tonight. Wish that fucking deadline. I'm a jack of all trades, but man, I gotta say that.
Thinking About Me has promise in the instrumental department until it truly squanders its potential with an obnoxious trap beat on the chorus. The song is basically about Morgan Wallen asking his ex if she thinks about him while she hooks up with her new boyfriend. Olivia Rodrigo did this concept way better 2 years ago with Deja Vu and sounded way less possessive and overall creepy. I Wrote the Book is another song which uses trap percussion for no reason, and yeah, it's some stupid religious shit where he says the Bible is the one book he didn't write and he wrote the book on everything else, braggadocious much. And it's about why he thinks you should read the Bible more. Okay, dude, but good God, he sounds genuinely awful. I take back what I said about Oliver Anthony having the worst vocal performance of the year, because this is a close second to Broadway Girls for how bad Morgan has sounded. And that song gave me literal sensory issues. Morgan needs to stay off the trap percussion for sure. I never want to hear this asshole's voice again. Well, that last segment was exhausting. Let's give out the Most Incompetent Song of the Year award. David legitimately has to be one of the least talented musicians I've ever heard. The melody is some boring, up and down repetitive shit. The production tries to be compelling with an admittedly decent guitar loop that I'm sure he just got on GarageBand or something, but this guy can't sing at all, and he doesn't even have the whiny appeal of a Post Malone or even a Kid Laroi. He is just nothing. I mentioned the guitar being nice, but the percussion, a single repeated drum beat, is mixed way too loud and just sounds bad. But the lyrics to this icked me out ever since I first heard them. It's called Romantic Homicide, and he spends the first verse, if you can call these pathetic fragments verses, saying he's scared because he feels like his girl doesn't care about him. So, to cope with the fear of her leaving, he imagines murdering her without regrets? Dude, you need to get off Fortnite and go to therapy. This is just a weird intrusive thought stretched into a 2-minute song, and even that is too long for this garbage. Now, before we get to the completely obvious number one, let's go through some dishonorable mentions. Dreadfully cringy religious married couple song that is totally not made for me, but I'm going to complain about it anyway. Marginally better than Romantic Homicide, but that isn't a compliment. I didn't have the energy to put Drake on the list proper, so I decided to dedicate a section of the dishonorable mentions to him. This song has an okay beat, but Drake and the lyrics absolutely kill my enjoyment of it. He's not even trying to hide his grossness at this point. 21's part of the song is better. Man, this dreadfully boring Drake trap R&B song sure does exist, doesn't it? Also, the lyrics are gross. The part where he calls out men making laws against abortion and then immediately white-dates a girl is fucking hilarious, though. I'm not gonna lie. This isn't any better. Aside from being another boring downbeat trap song, the lyrics "American Express My Love For You" have to be one of the worst of the year. And speaking of Drake, this is apparently the choreographer of Tootsie Slide, and this sucks too. It's a pretty boring song, and I really don't like his voice. Comedy gold. Much better instrumentation in the other two songs, but this one just has a gross stink coming off it. I don't know how to explain it. I know this came out in 2020, but it didn't blow up until now, so I'm counting it. This would just be an unremarkable Heatwaves knockoff if it wasn't for the fact that they let a cat in the studio and recorded it for the synth line, so there's that. Now we have the Latin section, and yeah, I have sensory issues, and this production does not help them. If those farty horns were taken out, it would probably be fine, but it isn't. All caps title aside, this is a dreadfully boring reggaeton song that does nothing to stick out, and Feed is not a compelling performer. This has the same problem as the other regional Mexican songs in that the horns sound like ass. Enough said. At this point, I can't tell these songs apart, and I think I'd like to keep it that way. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Feed guy. Next! And now we move on to the non-hits section with bad album cuts and non-starter singles that I hated this year. Whose idea was this? Hands on My Knees, I'm Angelina Jolie? This album wasn't bad, but it was way too long, and this song is just annoying. Also, I didn't realize this until now, but she says her boyfriend tested positive for COVID and they were kissing and it's fine. Yeah, pass. It doesn't help that the production has a complete meltdown by the end. Just dreadful. Cheap trap beat, annoying vocals, nothing lyrics. Don't Get Too Close is the worst album I heard this year. Easy contender for the worst song of the year outside of my number one on this list and another song I'll be talking about soon, but at least this one isn't morally reprehensible like those two, but good lord, this is miserable. It's trying to be minimalist, but it's from the perspective of a kid with mommy issues or something who makes songs with their friends in the garage, which is fine, I guess, but good lord, I can't stand the vocals on this, and this is just one of the most miserable songs I've heard in a long time. This song isn't bad. I like the Blackie rock production, and Miley is a bit tryhard, but fine, but Sia should never release anything ever again, and shame on Miley for working with her. I get the appeal of this one, and at least it has energy, but this song is like 70% chorus, and the chorus is extremely repetitive and annoying. The rest of the album was thankfully much better. Oh, sweetie. Oh no. If cringe was a song, it would be this. Also, thanks for attempting to ruin Mr. Sandman. Stay away from the good songs, Megan. The sad fact that 15-year-old me probably would have liked this, but oh dear, the lyrics are awful and Jax's voice is just very strange. The production is alright, but I would have rather someone else sing and write this. I'm sorry, Jax, since I know you're watching this. The disgusting hate you faced isn't warranted, but you do need to learn to take criticism. Well, this isn't annoying in a funny way like Psycho, and it isn't unironically good like Expectations. It's just an obnoxious 5 out of 10 radio filler song. Sorry, Brits. This one is less annoying but worse produced. 4th-rate Dua Lipa cologne. Brits had a lot of garbage this year, but at least Escapism was good. Oh, come on, Love Again was actually good, and then he pulls out this terribly produced trap song. This is like a Post Malone song, but trying to be happy and without any of the weird charm. Yeah, no thanks. I did not expect to hate this, but man, it gives me a headache. If I was in a club and this played, I would leave. Woefully misused 3/4 time signature, Maroon 5's entry into the gushy centrist genre. Pass. I've liked some songs by both of these artists before, but this one is trying so hard to be anthemic and is one of the most dour things I've ever heard. It's like a 3rd-rate Imagine Dragons song and it's 4 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. Normally I'd respect someone for making a song over 2.5 minutes in the TikTok era, but this could have been much shorter. I was a big fan of Dead Body last year, but good lord, this is cringy. It sounds like something you'd hear on an edgy furries TikTok feed, but that would be an insult to furries. What happened to you, man? This is an example of a song somehow being noisy while also being dreadfully minimalist. I'm not sure how that's possible. SM released really good songs this year, but this was not one of them. There were a lot of nursery rhyme K-pop songs this year, but this was the worst of them. She's a fine singer, but I can't stand this shit. They released this, didn't they? Not even close to their worst song, Sneakers, but this is still pretty bad. Mr. 96, I'm very sorry. I know you like this, and I like lots of obnoxious songs. This has the same problem as Sha-La for me, where it is very minimal, but the percussion is clattering and annoying. I also don't think Somi can sell this badass hip-hop attitude. Sorry. I thought We Need a Hero would be the most miserable song of the year, but this has it beat. This is if the world was ending levels of dreary. Okay, so Dem Joint's production is either a love it or hate it situation, and I usually like his stuff, but this is a disaster. Also, this has to be one of the most out of left field collabs ever. 17 is running laps around New Kids on the Block, but the production is so all over the place I can't really care. Also, the title. And the way they sing it in the chorus, this has to be one of the most entertaining disasters of 2023. Boring. Tension was a decent album, but this was a bonus track and it shows. This is produced so cheaply compared to the rest of the album and it doesn't feel finished. I have, surprisingly, more than a few complimentary things to say about Skyboy, but this is the worst song on it. I support him talking about mental health, I really do, but the delivery is simultaneously dreary and really overdramatic. It's basically Arcade again, but 2 points better. She contradicts the entire album in one song by calling people out for being on demon shit even though she was doing that the whole time and basically says God blessed her with record sales. Yikes. The beat is good though. I get it's for the fans, but as a fan, this is very annoying. Queen card haters, fight the real enemy. And now that we're done taking out the trash, let's set it on fire!
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
Do I even need to talk about this? This has to be the most obvious and boring #1 pick I've ever had. I don't think a song has been this universally agreed upon to be the #1 worst song since Birthday Cake. Damn, this is gonna go down in infamy with the other bad pop songs like the aforementioned Birthday Cake, You're Having My Baby, Love Me, Gummo, Sad, You Owe You Know, Blurred Lines. I could go on, but this doesn't even deserve analysis. It's already been torn to shreds by everyone on this damn platform, and it sounds like if an AI tried to write a vaguely racist country song. I'm not even sure if Jason Aldean is human. I grew up in a small town, and we have problems and violence. Negative city stereotypes have always enraged me, so I should have more to say about this, but this isn't worth my time. I think Jason is trying to sound threatening, but he can't even do that right. This is just pathetic. We didn't need to platform this dumpster fire, and I'm more than happy to leave this pandering garbage in 2023. That's all I have for today. The best list will be out shortly, followed by a few more year-end videos. I want to apologize again for the delay, but December is a rough month for me mentally, and the hits of this year didn't offer me much motivation. I'll see you all in the next video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and feel free to follow my socials in my link tree in the description, and join my Discord that's there as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.